you, Dean Carmen Lowe. We are now going to recognize our graduates, and we have a series of student speakers from the graduating programs. Lauren Hoyt will now speak on behalf of the students in the middle and high school education program.
When I tell people that I teach 8th grade, I am almost always greeted with the same thing, a question. Why? Why would you teach 8th grade? At first, this question made me uncomfortable and a little bit defensive, as if the question implies it's crazy to teach middle school, a ridiculous decision. Perhaps even teaching at all, an unfathomable career path that we have all chosen. I came to learn in this program, however, that questions that make me uncomfortable are something I should get used to. In September, we came up with 1,000 questions of our own, desperate for answers. Answers from anywhere or anyone. What if my lesson plan doesn't take up the whole hour? What kind of homework am I supposed to assign? And how do you make the photocopier print double-sided? Panicked as we were, we didn't know that these were the easy questions, the ones that had answers. As we became more comfortable in our roles as student teachers, our mentors and professors challenged us further with more questions. What kind of behaviors are you noticing in your students, and what do those behaviors communicate to you? How do we learn to make sense of something in a classroom before we make judgments? What are the relationships at play between the teachers and their students, the students and their curriculum? They never allowed us to give the easy answers, to do anything in our work without questioning it and thinking critically about it. And with this, our critical thinking and critical teaching muscles grew. We learned to ask our students engaging questions that involved their critical thinking skills and taught them to ask better questions of us. As we learned more about ourselves and our students, we came to love the hard questions they threw at us. Why do we have to read this? Why does this matter? When are we ever going to use this in real life? We learned that dealing and wrestling with these questions is not just hard, but important and crucial to being successful. We read articles and poems and books and stories aimed not at answering the questions of what is a teacher and why do we teach and why is school important, but to make us realize that those questions are worth pursuing and exploring, and in fact it is imperative that we do explore them. Teaching is not just a cognitive, intellectual endeavor, it's also a human and emotional endeavor. As a group of people, we went through a profound transformative experience together, re-seeing and re-experiencing school as teachers, the way we experienced it as students for the first time in our K-12 schools. We met in classes, sometimes more like group therapy sessions, not to answer the questions of how was your day or what did you teach today, but to ask each other and ourselves some of the hardest questions of all. What if I'm not good enough for them? What do I do with a student who seems utterly beyond my reach? How do I teach successfully in a broken and bureaucratic system? As a group, we asked these questions, and we became comrades and colleagues when we honored them and truly listened to them. Together, we came to appreciate these questions and respect that they are worthwhile, are of paramount importance in this profession we've undertaken. Together, we attempted to ask and think about the questions of the universe and see them reflected in a 6th grade science test, a 10th grade math assignment, a 9th grade essay, a history research paper, a grammar exercise in another language. We trusted in the connections we saw and the chain reaction of new questions they set off. We trusted that our uncertainty would yield to a little bit less uncertainty in the future. And we trusted each other, which allowed us to grow. As we receive this degree and these honors today, are we really now masters in the art of teaching, as our diploma might suggest? The answer to that question is a fairly obvious no. We're not masters. We are as green as can be. What little callus we have developed in this year of student teaching is a thin protection over our raw and idealistic minds, our hearts still in the right place, our ambitions still fresh and impassioned. Linda told us that she takes it as a mark of success that we leave this program with more questions than we came in with. It's antithetical to what you'd expect. After all, we're supposed to be masters today. How can we be leaving with more questions to ask, more explorations to take? It may seem daunting and even unnerving, but as long as we continue to encourage our students and each other and ourselves to keep asking questions, we will keep learning. Thank you.
This is the part where you graduate. And I gotta say, I wrote I had some ideas I was gonna say at the end, but you've covered most. I don't think I have to say them. That's really lovely. Our first graduate. Oh, sorry. And now we will recognize the recipients of the Master of Arts in Teaching Middle and High School program. Lauren Hoyt.
Yeah.
Do I? Okay, sorry. New at this. Duncan McLaury. David Wool.